Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be looking at Season 2 of The Wire. So this season focuses on the port of Baltimore, as well as an international organized crime operation that is being conducted there by a figure known only as the Greek. Meanwhile, the storyline from Season 1 focusing on the Barksdale crew and the Baltimore Police Department continues. Quick disclaimer, make sure to check out Season 1 before you watch this review because there will be a few spoilers for that season. So before we begin the actual review, one thing I forgot to mention in my Season 1 review is that every single season of the show has been acclaimed to a certain extent, but it's debatable whether or not Season 1 is one of the best seasons or one of the weaker ones. Some argue that it's one of the weaker seasons because it's just the beginning of the show, all the pieces weren't fully in place and so on and so forth, and then other people like myself consider it to be one of the better seasons because it had so many iconic moments to it. Now Season 2 is kind of on a similar boat here because most people initially considered it to be one of, if not the worst, seasons in the entire show, mainly due to its departure from the direction of Season 1. I mean, even the actors were confused about this season when they read the scripts and they realized what kind of direction it was heading into. And then there are others who consider it to be among the best seasons of the show, because despite its deviations from Season 1, it still practically fits in with the world of The Wire in a lot of ways, and just because it had some of the most iconic storylines and characters and all that kind of stuff. As for me guys, while I think this is exceptional television as usual, it's one of my least favorite seasons of the show. For one reason and one reason only, but we'll get to that later. So let's get into it. So first of all, I found this new setting of the Baltimore docks, or the port of Baltimore, or whatever you want to call it, to be exciting and refreshing. Plus, it's the perfect location for the Greek and his associates to conduct their operations. Plus, this being the next season, there's a couple of new characters who were introduced both at the docks and in Baltimore. But we'll get to Baltimore later. Firstly, you have Frank Sabatka, a treasurer who runs the Baltimore docks, and in an industry that is declining, in this case the shipping industry, he goes to extreme lengths to make sure that all of his workers are taken care of, including himself. Then you have Ziggy, Frank's son. Ziggy works for his father at the docks and is constantly getting fired and reinstated due to his ineptitude and somewhat troublesome nature. It is fun to watch him engage in drunken antics just to amuse everyone around him, but much like his father, he resorts to criminal activity, even if it's not for the same reasons. Then you have Ziggy's cousin and Frank's nephew, Nick, who may look familiar because he was played by Pablo Schreiber, who played Master Chief in the Halo TV series, which a lot of people don't seem to like. And that's putting it kindly. Nick is also a worker at the docks and does his best to keep Ziggy out of trouble because he cares for him, even though he despises a lot of his antics. He has a girlfriend named Amy and a daughter. He and Amy have a troubled relationship, and by also engaging in illegal activity himself, he finds an opportunity to reconnect with her and make things right. The season also introduces Beatrice Russell, aka Beatty, a port officer who plays a pivotal role in the investigations into the operations of the Greek. Then you have the main antagonist, the Greek. The Greek is a very quiet and unassuming man, yet ruthless and cunning, and is only interested in facts that will make him more money. His operations include human trafficking and narcotics, and he tends to keep a low profile while his lieutenant, Vondaz, does most of the work up front. His lieutenant, Vondaz, is kind of a mystery in the sense that it's never fully clear as to what his nationality is, because there are so many possibilities. He could be Hungarian, he could be Croatian, he might be Greek himself, but who knows. it's up in the air and it's debatable. Now, when it comes to Baltimore, many of the detectives involved in pursuing Avon Barksdale in season 1 have now all been relegated to various departments. For example, McNulty is now a port officer and has been transferred to the Miami unit. Avon and D'Angelo Barksdale are currently in jail, and Stringer Bell was not arrested because the police are still trying to figure out what other dirty little secrets the Barksdale organization may be hiding. Proposition Joe, a character I forgot to mention in my season 1 review, who's played by Robert F. Chu, may he rest in peace, has an expanded role from this point onwards in the show. He is an East Side drug lord who often resorts to peaceful solutions when it comes to business disputes. An assassin by the name of Brother Muzone is introduced in the season, and I don't know if it's just me, but perhaps Vince Gilligan, who created Breaking Bad, took inspiration from this character when creating Gus Fring. Then of course there's Cheese, a drug dealer played by Method Man from the Wu-Tang Clan, the one hip-hop group I wouldn't mind listening to every once in a while, even though I'm not much of a hip-hop fan anymore. The police also need Omar to testify in court, and so they hire Bubbles to track him down. Bubbles gets into a little bit of trouble this season, but I really liked how things played out for him at the very end. This also results in one of Omar's most iconic scenes in the show, and that's the courtroom scene, mainly due to the solid writing and another stellar performance from Michael K. Williams. Thematically, while this season does continue the previous season's themes of dysfunctional institution and the effects of the drug trade on society, it also explores the decline of the American working class and the hardships that its members have to endure when transitioning from an industrial society to a post-industrial society. And the finale was perfect, you know. As far as the Barksdale storyline goes, it did a great job in laying the groundwork for what was to come in season 3. And as far as the storyline at the docks is concerned, it ended in the most realistic way possible. You know, this isn't a show that's all about fairy tale endings. It's meant to be as realistic as possible. Now, this might be a bit of an odd thing to complain about, but it's just a small issue that I so happen to have. And it's the fact that this season is season 2. You see, season 1 revolved entirely around the drug trade and all that kind of stuff. So to go from that to the docks immediately after season 1 felt odd, especially since most of the characters at the docks are never seen or heard from again. I'm not trying to say that it's the black sheep of the series or anything, because in a way it does fit in with the world of The Wire. So yeah, those are my thoughts on season 2 of The Wire. I still really enjoyed it, but it's not one that I'd go back to over and over again. You know, it just doesn't have as many iconic moments as a lot of the other seasons. So next time, we're going to be jumping into season 3. So thank you all for watching. Please be sure to like the video, share and subscribe. Ring the bell. Be safe during this time, and I'll see you soon.